She waited with hope for her husband to come home for dinner. When he arrived, there was no sign of affection. Aisha felt a little disappointed, but just after one bite, he said the food was too bland, and asked if she had forgotten the salt. Aisha looked at him, her face shifting through many expressions. She picked up the salt shaker, and poured more salt into Ozan's plate, angrily asking if that was enough for him. She said she was also tired from work, and had spent hours carefully preparing the meal, yet he was just criticizing. Her anger grew as she spoke. She imagined herself pouring the entire shaker into his plate. Ozan called her name, and she came back to herself, realizing it had only been in her mind. She smiled and handed him the salt shaker. Hearing Ozan praise her, she felt truly happy, thankful she had controlled her temper, and not ruined the good mood. Both of them carefully tried to protect their hard-won happiness, but as time passed, all the passion was replaced with routine. Ozan played games with his assistant, ignoring how she felt. Even when she looked forward to having a beautiful evening together, he had already fallen asleep. In the morning she dreamed she was pregnant, but Ozan seemed completely indifferent. She woke up startled, and immediately woke him, telling him they needed a date that evening. But Ozan suddenly remembered he had planned to watch a game with his assistant, and asked to reschedule. Aisha refused to accept that. She was determined to improve their relationship right away. Confused, Ozan could only agree. When he got to the office, he was just about to discuss the game with his friends, but they said they had cancelled dates with their wives, so they could watch the game instead. Not wanting to be laughed at for being controlled by his wife, he came up with what he thought was the perfect plan. Meanwhile, Aisha finished chatting with her best friend and was about to leave, when she suddenly felt dizzy. Her friend nervously asked her if she had gone for a follow-up after the car accident, but Aisha told her not to worry, saying she was fine. When her friend reached for her phone to call Ozan, she stopped her, saying she never wanted to be stuck in the hospital again. It was just a little dizziness. Then she persuaded her friend to leave. That evening, they went to a restaurant with a wonderful atmosphere. To save time, Ozan said he had already ordered. Everything would go according to his plan tonight. Aisha had no doubt at all. She thought it was a little surprise from him, but Ozan kept checking the time, and even got his clothes dirty on purpose, using it as an excuse to go to the restroom. In reality, he was running off to watch the game with his friends. His perfect plan was to arrange the game and the date at the same place, but after only a few minutes, he had to rush back to continue dinner with Aisha. All night he kept coming up with excuses to slip away, until Aisha finally noticed something was wrong. Just as Ozan was celebrating a victory in the game, Aisha appeared right behind him. The boss was actually on a date with his wife, while secretly watching a game with his friends. Just as he was celebrating his little scheme, his wife caught him red-handed. That night he was kicked out of the room. The next day, he found out Aisha went on vacation with her friends, to a resort full of handsome guys. He instantly lost his cool, and rushed to the resort with his buddies. Aisha smiled and asked if he was following her. He stubbornly claimed he was just there for a meeting. Aisha saw right through him, and talked with her friends about getting a massage, then walked away confidently. Ozan noticed the good-looking staff, and fumed at the thought of anyone touching his wife. He snuck into the massage room, and found Aisha was alone. He pretended to be the masseur and rubbed her shoulders. Aisha cheerfully praised how great it felt. He was boiling inside. When she complimented him again, he pressed harder without realizing it. Aisha quickly sensed something was wrong, and discovered he was messing around, angrily demanding why he was there. Ozan boldly asked who she was expecting, saying he would never allow those muscular guys to give her a massage. Just then, the real masseur walked in, and told him men weren't allowed in casually. He finally realized he made a big blunder. Aisha clenched her teeth and told him to leave. That night Aisha confronted him furiously, accusing him of being the jealous guy he used to be. Ozan openly admitted his jealous streak, saying he was tired of pretending. Aisha also let out her frustrations, pretending not to be upset, pretending not to argue. That wasn't the real me. Ozan looked at her with deep affection. This was the woman he knew. They kissed all the way back to their room. They spent a sweet night together, and decided to always be their true selves. Even if arguments came, they would face them side by side.